And you know what else is a good look, Dylan? The Braves. The Braves are
Mm-hmm.
looking the part. I think that even on the biggest stage last night, we talked about some of the great things that we liked about what we saw, right? So the National League finally cracked the code. It's been since 2012, 11 years it took them, but they cracked the code last night in getting the 3-2 win over the American League. And it was kind of cool. I actually enjoyed the game. I watched this one start to finish, and I thought it was a really good game. But also, admittedly, I was watching because it was a delight to see all of those Braves up on the biggest stage. So that said, what did you like about the game? And more importantly, what did you like about what you saw in the Braves?
I thought the game was actually pretty entertaining. I think we got a
Mhm.
solid mix of like good pitching, but some timely hitting
Yeah.
as well. So I think there was a good mix there. As far as the Braves, though, I mean, look, I was on that Acuña hit when
Yeah.
he got robbed a little bit in that but
Right.
in the very first at bat of the game. I was
Mhm.
hoping that was gonna go out. Looked like it was gonna go out at first, but
Yeah.
Adolis Garcia made a nice catch out there in
Mhm.
the outfield with the sun in his eyes and all. So got to tip your hat to him. He's an all-star as well. But I was hoping that
Indeed.
would go out. But as far as the good goes, I mean, the Braves were flashing the leather all day
Yeah.
long and all night long as well. I mean, Sean Murphy, look, if you ain't know about that pop time, you know about
Right.
that pop time
Nobody
now.
now.
Yes, and he hit Orlando Arcia, his teammate, down there to throw out Randy Rosarena. Also, Austin Riley flashing the leather. He got the lone hit
Yeah.
for the Braves as well. So Austin Riley had
Mhm.
himself a very good game, throwing that nice barehanded ground ball over to Matt Olson. Matt Olson made a nice dig, and then
Yes.
Austin Riley basically ending the eighth inning himself with getting that double play, catching the line out, and then throwing it back over to first in time for the out. So look, the Braves showed really how good they were defensively. We knew how good they were offensively. So the
Right.
bats were a little quiet, but that's okay because they still shined. And then we did get to see what we really wanted to see. All the Braves infielders out there at one time. There was a big part of me hoping that we would see all six Braves all-stars, all the
Right.
position players, because obviously
Yeah,
Bryce
because we
and
know
Spencer
Spencer
weren't pitching.
Strider
Yeah.
and Bryce Elder weren't there because they just
Yeah.
finished pitching that Rays
Yeah.
series. Yeah.
So yeah, I was hoping to see, Ozzy, Orlando,
Yeah.
Austin, Olson, Acuña, and Sean Murphy all there at one time. We didn't quite get that, but that's okay. We
Right.
got the infield all out there at one time, and it looked good. So it was fun to hear. It was fun to hear Ozzy mic'd up too. And Tenitra, I would be reminiscent if I didn't get your thoughts on that chain that Ronald Acuña Jr. had out there yesterday. I mean, ooh, that thing was shining, and that's quite the piece of jewelry, Tenitra.
Yeah.
Quite the piece of jewelry.
He's so extra. And we love it because this whole city is extra. So
Yes.
it fits. It really, really fits. And that goes to something we say all the time. Yes, we talk about the World Series. And yes, you and I will talk a little bit about what we're looking for in the second half. But
Mm-hmm.
I think we also have to pause and appreciate what we've seen in the first half. The
Right.
joy that those guys play with, the openness,
Yes.
the freeness, the swag, all of it is who the Braves are. It's Ronald Acuña Jr. and his chain is really just kind of an obvious, right? An obvious
Yeah.
reference to who this team is, their new identity, if you will. Because I feel like, the Braves of old were kind of lunch pail, and I'm not mad at,
Oh
lunch
yeah. No.
pail, kind of blue collarish. But I
Yeah.
also like the little over the top dramatic flair. We're gonna do it like we do it,
Yeah.
and unapologetically, I like this version of the Braves too, because I think that it is a true representation. Like I said, he's a representation of what the city is all about. And what I also liked as well, going back to the play that you called out, it was probably my favorite play of the game. I actually watched it and watched replays of it. And that was that bare hand play from Austin
Yes.
Riley, right?
Yeah.
Throwing to Matt Olson, and Matt Olson just getting enough of that bag just a second ahead to get the out. But why I liked that play the most was because, yes, the Braves bats are the biggest in the league, a record in home runs
Yep.
before the All-Star break, et cetera, et
Yep.
cetera. I mean, you could just go down the accolades, but I think
Right.
people forget about the defensive prowess of
Yes.
the Braves as well, and how many Gold Glovers they have. And also, when you look at an Austin Riley, it shows how much he's improved, how much commitment he has to his defensive game. Why is that important? Because as you get deeper into this season, and more importantly, into the postseason, you're going to need your defense
Mm-hmm.
to ward off runs, to ward off home runs, etc. Players getting on base or players advancing. And of course, you're going to need your pitchers and you're going to need your batting. But I do think that, to me, I really like that play the most because it showed that's how multifaceted the Braves are indeed. So speaking of that, we have now become very high on our expectations for what we're
Yes.
going to see in the second half because you did all of those things like 11 straight playoff or series wins, if you will,
Yeah.
some of which were sweeps with
Yep.
top tier teams. Second half, we know Ronald Acuña Jr. We've already said it. Acuña Jr., he's the league's MVP unless something goes way down the
MVP.
rabbit hole the second half. And
Right.
of course, that means he's your Braves MVP. But for me, I was thinking about this. As the Braves position themselves to really still maintain in that second half of the season, maintaining their lead in the National League and also putting themselves in position, should they get to the World Series, to be able to host, what is it going to really take for the Braves to do that? And that made me get down to my question to you, which is this. Who's that one player who kind of needs to be that MVP of the second half and really kind of step up his game in order for this team to potentially get back to the World Series?
Tenitra, it's a guy we were just talking about, Austin Riley. I think he needs to be that guy because we've seen the hot streaks from Matt Olson. We've seen the hot streaks from Sean Murphy, obviously Ronald Acuña Jr., even Ozzie Albies, Orlando Arcia. I feel like the one guy we haven't gotten that true hot streak from, he's been, here and there, and he still had a very good first half. Like his first half is nothing to sneeze at. But I feel like we all know what Austin Riley can do. Like we all remember when he came in his rookie year and just set the league ablaze. He hit a home run, like 5, 6, 7 straight games. I can't remember exactly, but I mean, we've seen what he can do when he gets hot. I'm not saying he needs to do exactly that, but I would love to see, and I think the Braves really could use a hot streak from Austin Riley because when that dude gets hot, I mean, he's like Acuña with his power. I mean, his power alone can carry a team. So plus we saw last night what he can do defensively. So if he gets on a real tear offensively and defensively, I think that'll be a huge shot in the arm for the Braves, and it'll allow them to keep on this pace that they've been they've started in the first half. So Austin Riley is my guy that I think needs to be the second half MVP.
I like it. And he's my pick too, because yes, we saw what we needed to see defensively, had a nice hit. We love that because maybe that's a foreboding, or maybe that's a foreshadowing rather of what we're going to see in the second half from him. But yeah, when you look at his 22 numbers, now, of course, that's 159 games versus the 89 he's played so far this season. But last year, 90 runs, 168 hits, if you will, an OPS of 878, OBP of 349, just numbers just way up there, 6.5. So all of those numbers, for the most part, so far this year are down. But the good news is that they're creeping up because he is already at 61 runs. So let's give credit for that, right? And 94 hits, low key. They may not be all the home runs that we're accustomed to, but they're there. So 16 home runs. Last year, he got 38. I feel like he's the guy who, we need to see actually get back to himself, and B, I believe he's the guy that can actually get there. So yeah, we're looking for a lot out of the Braves. We know, of course, they've got a couple of days off before they get back to Truist Park to host the White Sox. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I just say too that I hope we all appreciate the history that we saw made in the first half, because it was a beautiful, beautiful thing.